Hello, everyone. Welcome to 8-Bit Versus with myself, Alan, and him upstairs, Martin. Hello, Martin. How are you?
Hello from upstairs. How are you down there?
I'm very good, thank you. I've had a good Christmas, good break, and I've been researching lots of games for us to play. And I suspect you've been doing the same, haven't you?
I have been doing a bit of reading, but also we put a poll out, didn't we? Or a couple of polls.
Yes, we did. So uh, we decided to let the audience decide which games we would be playing on the next couple of occasions. We really weren't sure how this was going to pan out, whether people would choose the right game or whether they choose something different. I'm really surprised at the choice that we've got today. As you can see over on the side, it's Spy Hunter. That's the game we're going to play this week, and it was up against, in my poll, it was up against a few really great games. I put some real bangers in there, but people chose this one. And I'm not entirely sure why, but this is the one we'll play. And the way it works is Martin is a massive Commodore 64 fan,
Woohoo!
and I'm a Sinclair Spectrum fan because that's what I had when I was a kid. Uh, and the idea is we play games on each other's systems. So, as this was my choice, Martin will get to play this on a Sinclair Spectrum.
Yeah, it's going to make my
And
eyes bleed undoubtedly with lots of green and yellow
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
cyan,
There'll be all the colors, all of the color, all of them, all
bleepy bleepy
15,
noises to just make my
all 15
ears
colors.
ache. Yeah,
So there'll be a lot of this while we're playing. Um,
optimistic.
and uh, and then later on we'll switch, and I'll get to play, and then we'll play on the Commodore as well, and then we'll decide which one did it better, and it will always be the Spectrum, obviously.
Clearly, you're
So
wrong,
if you
but
want to know
okay.
the if you want to know the next time we're doing one of these, you can follow us on Twitch, YouTube, and on Twitter, and we announce it everywhere. So you'll find out when we're going to do another one of these. We're settling into this sort of time on a Friday, but that may change
Yep.
as we have families and other commitments. But we'll try and let everyone know. And if you follow those places, you'll find out when we're going to go live. You can also join our Discord. We have a little Discord where we chat about the technology we use for this stuff and what types of games people want to see. And people can suggest games that they think we should play. And we certainly listen to those and they get added to our lists because it's funny how I've got a list of games that I want to play, and then someone will mention something, and oh yeah, and it just like
Yeah.
springs up in your mind, and yeah. So yeah, looking forward to more people joining the Discord and giving us some suggestions. The links for everything are underneath this video on all wherever you're watching this,
Yeah.
somewhere, no
So,
doubt.
cheese, thanks for the bits. We don't know what that means yet. We're still we're still so
We're such noobs,
yeah.
we
We
really
we
are.
we'd like to say thanks to everyone who's been following and supporting the channel because at the end of the last live stream we did, we made Twitch affiliate. So we've been turning all of those things on over the Christmas break, and that's all active now, but we have no idea what it means. Oh, one bit is one Bitcoin. Perfect. Excellent. We can retire now. So I think it's me to play this game first on the Spectrum, right?
Mm.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So should we stick a tape in and
Yeah.
then we'll have a chat about it while you're playing?
It will only take a moment to load, and whilst it's loading, if those of you in the chat could go and gather up all of your friends, we'd really like to hit 50 viewers and chatters this evening because that's our next milestone. So whilst I'm loading, go and find your friends. We'll be back in just one moment.
See you in a bit.
Okay. Right. I've got it loaded. I'm being
So,
bashed around by things. What is this game about?
so you are Spy Hunter. So you are that white car there,
Okay.
and you might as well pick up your joystick or whatever
Okay.
because you're getting beaten up. So it's very much like a Bond theme kind of game where you're a spy with various weapons that can be added to your car. So you've got to evade the nasties, and you've noticed you've got a gun. And every so often the truck, yeah, don't shoot that truck.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So you have to evade the baddies,
I think that was
or
one
shoot
there.
them. Now you notice the red ones have the little things that come out the side of the wheels, a bit like the bad guys in Grease, the film. They have the little spikes that come out the side of the car. Those trucks can give you extra weapons.
Right.
And those weapons include oil. That's oil you're spilling out the back of your car.
Yeah. Or was. Yeah. So.
Yes. So the goal of the game is to get past all of this, kill all the nasties, and not go off the track. Right.
Right. And there's is that
there's
a
a
timer
timer
to do it all in?
No, there's a timer at the bottom of the screen, which is basically you've got infinite lives.
Okay.
All the while the timer is up, and now you don't. Now the bridge is out, so you need to stay left here.
I need to stay left. Didn't say it was out.
Not your left, my left.
Right. Okay, I see. I can see on the map that where I should have gone. Okay.
Right. So when the bridge is out, you have to take the fork on the left, and the fork takes you through like a tunnel underwater. Or into the water, and your car, which is I think called an interceptor.
It is, I believe so. Yes. Oh.
All right. Now this thing is a chopper, and you need missiles to destroy him, or you could drive past him, and he will eventually just drive away. Did you pick up the missiles from the truck?
No, I have no missiles. Can I not kill him with anything other than missiles?
No. You need the missiles, and I think he'll just go away after a while. But you need to drive. He won't go away if you just let him.
Ugh.
Oh, unlucky.
Okay, right.
So, high score 15,350. Go again.
Okay.
So the thing is, you need to. In the arcade, it had like a yoke, like an aeroplane steering wheel, and it had buttons for each of the weapons. But you don't have that, so you have to do a bit of special fire button and joystick movement to get different.
So I noticed I happened
Weaponry.
to have fire held down as I was steering one direction, and that let the oil out the back of the car.
Yes,
as opposed to pushing forwards or backwards, fires the.
And once you let go of the fire button,
right,
then you can use the directions again.
Okay, how do I restart the game? Do you know?
I don't know, space or enter or 0 or
1. Enter space 1.
Is it crashed?
I don't know. I tell you what.
Bizarre.
Let's see if we can
give it a hammer time.
Yeah, better hammer time. Okay, right then. So we're back at the main screen. So I need Kempston joystick. So we'll.
Oh, you're playing with a joystick?
Yes, I'm not an animal playing with the trusty QuickShot 2 Turbo.
Oh, you're using the QuickShot today?
Yes,
okay.
I'm using the QuickShot today. I did deliberate.
I guess it's more like the arcade because you've got like the yoke thing I was talking about had like buttons, trigger buttons, and press buttons on there. For the different weapons.
Yeah, so I played the arcade machine a little bit, and I was really quite young, I seem to remember. I kid myself, maybe. And yeah, it was very futuristic, the sort of spacey style thing. Right, okay.
I think it had a gear shift as well on the right-hand side. It had a up-down shifty gear stick, but they didn't bother putting that in the 8-bit conversions.
Right.
There's no gear selector in this at all. It's just go and stop.
Yeah,
Digital,
I mean,
go
that's
and
fair.
stop.
I mean, there's only so much you can do with the joysticks that were available. Oh, I wanted him. Oh, I definitely want these. Come back, come back. Hee-hee. Oh, okay. So, how do I launch missiles then?
Right. I don't think you do until
until
the
there's a
helicopter
helicopter
arrives.
on the screen. So, oops, I didn't mean
Yes.
to shoot them, did I? Okay. So, what's my
So,
objective? Is there somewhere I need to get to?
Let me just check these. I've got the manual here in front of me.
Right.
And it says left. If the helicopter is in close proximity, then the missiles will be allowed to be fired.
With fire in what direction?
I think left.
Left. Okay.
I think left.
Oh, more missiles.
And when you've got the oil slick, that's on your left when the helicopter is not nearby, and when you get the smoke screen, that's on right when you've not got the helicopter nearby. So those are the main things. It's a bit confusing, but I guess, like you say, they're trying to combine a user interface that had steering and gears and loads of buttons onto up, down, left, right, fire.
Come back. Oh.
Go left.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that car to... Go on, I'll tell you... Oh, I'm a boat. I'm a boat now. So what can I do as a boat? Oh, I've got missiles. How did I get
You
missiles?
can shoot other things as a boat.
Oh, as a duck.
And there are other boats. There's two different types of other boats. The small boats that leave mines in the water.
I'm a bit...
As you're discovering now.
That's quite a Larry line.
So this was the whole thing about Spy Hunter is it really made you feel like you were like James Bond with your car that could go underwater and convert into a boat and then just drive back onto the road and turn back into a car. And then there's all these nasty cars that are out to get you. That's what it invoked in the arcade.
Yeah.
Plus the futuristic steering wheel kind of helped as well. It was a bit...
Well, you're a vehicle that can morph into boat and car. It would seem.
Right.
So I did I don't know much about this game. I never played this on the 8-bit computers back in the day, and I think I can probably count on one hand the number of times I played the arcade machine. And one of those was literally for 10 seconds in October when we were at Odd Camp. But I was reading about this game prior to doing this video, and apparently this game was the arcade machine was supposed to launch... Whoa! I'm a car again. Was supposed to launch with a James Bond license. And that didn't transpire, which is why, you saying it is, reminiscent of, James Bond is, apt, because that was what they were aiming for.
Bridge out.
Is this the same? Oh.
So in the arcade, there were two very definite enemies. There were the ones with the spiky things on the wheels, and then there were longer cars like Bugsy Malone. And I'm pretty sure that they stuck a gun out the side and shot at you sideways.
Oh, really?
I think. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But it's been a long time since I played the arcade version, but I know I did play it at the same time as you in Manchester. It was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed that. But I'm terrible at the arcade version.
Yep, me too. And apparently, I don't know how to restart a game when I get a game over.
Weird.
Yes.
Hammer time.
Yeah. Okay, well, at least the recovery from that situation is relatively swift. Right then.
So I didn't spot what your high score was. Maybe somebody else saw on the stream.
If somebody did see that, let me know. I wasn't paying attention either. I don't feel like I'm doing very well at this yet. I have to say, coming into this, I was a little bit cautious about this video because I didn't like this game. back in the day. I found it.
What, you didn't like the arcade
immense.
version or the
I didn't
8-bit version?
I didn't like the arcade version, which is why I didn't play it very much. And I remember playing it on a friend's Commodore 64, and it was one of those rare occasions where you play the game for less time than it took to load the game. I was like having none of it. I was like, this is infuriating. I want none of it.
Interesting. And it's funny how the choice of 4 games that I gave in the poll that I did on Twitter, I think I put Synapse or Synapse, depending upon how you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, I love that game.
Exelon.
Yeah, I've never
Thrust.
played it, but I was really looking forward to playing that.
So those were the 3 games that I put alongside this one, and I was really expecting either Exelon or Thrust. Well, actually, any of those 3, because they're all classics on the Spectrum.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. Maybe people who didn't play it on the 8-bits remember it from the arcade and chose it because of that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe so. So I was surprised.
I think.
Whoa! Ooh, that was close.
I think something about this on the Spectrum that I liked was, I mean, they're pretty rudimentary trees either side, but they kind of look like trees. There's your smoke. So you've now got smoke and missiles.
Yeah, and more missiles.
So in theory, you could deploy smoke as well.
Okay, I'm a boat. Yeah, I know. So.
And you haven't even lost a life yet. You're still in the infinite lives.
I'm still. So you can have as many. Oh, I don't like these actually. I regret my life choices.
What, the boats?
I'm not keen on the boats with the bombs coming out the back. I have to admit. They're quite difficult.
They're a bit sneaky.
There isn't
If
much
you go
room for manoeuvre. I have to...
No, the road is quite narrow, and so is the river.
Yeah.
But like there's little plants by the side of the river and rocks.
I'm really not focused on that. I mean, the ducks are a bit of a distraction.
The graphics are fantastic. Well, I realise you can't pay attention to that because you're busy piloting a speedboat.
Yes.
But yeah, I think when you're going fast and you're up the top of the screen, like it doesn't give you a lot of room for manoeuvre when one of those little things drops.
Right. Okay. I don't know how good a score this is, but I'm 14,000. I'm just about to crest 14,000. I'll assume
you're getting some positive comments in the chat. Bacon Drinker is saying the hammer gif is incredible. You must have spent an obscene amount of time setting all this stuff up.
We did have some fun setting this up. Yeah, if you appreciate even when it goes wrong, tell your friends.
We're doing something right.
Ask them to come and join us.
Oh man,
we're now trophy hunting in Twitch to see what next level stuff. Oh, I don't believe it. That's a bit mean. I was hardly touching it. Oh, and I've lost all my stuff. I don't believe it.
Yeah, that's the downside. Is when you're in like infinite lives mode at the start, you can get very, collector.
Missiles. We want those.
And...
Come back. Yay! Oh, immediate disappointment. Right. Okay.
So what do you think?
20,000.
Is it still as annoying now? As
no,
you remember
I'm enjoying this.
Version as annoying?
I'm having fun here. So this game was released on both systems in 1983. So it's early days. No, it wasn't. It was released in 1985. It was released in 1985 for both systems, based on the 1983 arcade machine. So it's. I mean, this looks
£8.
Yeah, I mean it's quite pricey. And this looks quite rudimentary, even for a Spectrum game. I know there are more sophisticated, use of what the limited graphics and sound that the Spectrum has.
And there's no end to it. You are just driving. There is no level. There's no
end.
Checkpoint. Nope. It's like an endless runner on a mobile platform these days.
Is this the original endless runner?
Yes.
Right.
Can I have a go?
No, actually you can't. I'm going to have to invoke Hammer Time again just to quickly reload it. I'm going to be back in just a few seconds. Okay, this is going to be my last run.
Right, make a note of this. Is going to be a high score running, is it?
Well, I've got approximately 20,000 to beat. So let's see how we go.
Approximately 20,000.
20,000 and change.
Everyone needs to keep an eye on your score before you turn this off and hide whatever your high score was.
Can you not rewind the live stream and somebody confirm that my score
so
was?
I can't read that. AL3 Expo, is that right? Expos. Is saying the truck was kind of cute and very reminiscent of Knight Rider.
Yeah,
like the big truck, the big black truck from Knight Industries. Obviously, it's a white truck in this game. The thing I liked about this, I really like the graphics. I realize it's chunky and low res, but I really like that car, and I remember drawing that Spy Hunter car when I saw the game in a magazine, drawing it on graph paper as a kid, and like coloring it in and. Doing my own graphics, ripping off the graphics from Spy Hunter because it was just.
It is. I have to say that is a well for. Oh, come back! Come on! Why can't I get?
No, you've got it.
I did. Oh,
you've already got it.
That's good then. Well, then we're happy. We're happy drivers. Oh, what are you? Smoke? Is that smoke? Oh.
I never understood what that was supposed to be. It looks like a grappling hook to me.
Oh, right. Okay, you can die. There we go. Oh, missiles. We definitely want more of you. Come back. There we go.
I don't think you get more. You just get.
I've got none now.
You just have them, or you don't have them. You see, whenever that thing comes up that says "bridge out, take the left turn," I always hard over to the left because otherwise. Okay. So I think the blue ones, the cyan cars, are the hard to kill ones that you can't shoot. You have to knock them off the road.
Which ones of the blue ones am I supposed to be going after? Because aren't some of these civilians?
So, yes, the purple ones are civilians. The purple ones that have things coming out the side are baddies, obviously. But I think the cyan-coloured ones, the ones that are the same colour as the score, I think those are the ones you have to nudge off the road because it doesn't matter how many times you shoot them, that doesn't seem to affect them. But you could use the smoke, or we're onto a new landscape.
You're right,
a desertscape.
I've leveled up.
You could use smoke or oil to get rid of those guys.
Right, or I could bump them off. Could I?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just. Oh no, it's not that one. It's that one. Okay. Oh.
That is evil when it just clips the corner of your car and like
that
sends you
feels
flying
a
off.
little bit not great collision detection. Right, so you going off the road? You going off the road? You going off the road? Come on, Diane, get. Oh no, missiles.
Oh, you can't even oil slick him, can you? Because
I have lost those.
You lost it.
I've lost the.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think at the point when I used to play this, when I got to this section of the track, I was like, oh, a whole new world. It's yellow. It's like just because it was. I think it's supposed to be sand, obviously, or desert, or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exactly the same sprites. It's just the background.
Is it the same map as well? It feels very similar. Oh no, I'm dead.
I don't.
Oh no, that bridge wasn't out. That's good.
Oh no, that green one. That's the long one.
Okay.
The green one is the long car. The one that they used to shoot out the side of. I think.
Right. I think that is my best score. 23,175. So, should we get this loaded up for you then?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, so we've got that loaded up. So Popey is now, well, maybe
screaming down the road.
Maybe show me how it's done.
So the trick is, because on the Spectrum you had to hold the fire button down in order to use one of the other weapons, the secondary weapon. The trick is you just dab the fire button. You don't hold it down. You just dab it like that. You just like don't hold it down. If you hold it down, then you can't move while you're holding.
You can't steer, right?
Okay. Yeah, which is a bit of a flaw, but it's just the way the controls worked.
Yeah.
Oil. Now I can never remember which one. That's right.
Right.
Okay, right
yeah.
is oil.
Have you got an unlimited supply of that now?
I'm not sure how much. There we go. Got rid of him.
Aha! So he just explodes
So
on
that's how you
impact.
get rid of
Okay, so he doesn't spin off; he just dies on contact with the oil.
Well, that was close. Yeah, the thing is, you got to get in front of them.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Disappointed I didn't get to use any of my fancy weapons. I didn't get to use one of them.
Fancy weapons.
Yeah, well, other than the pew pew gun.
I love it when the truck dives off the thing. There's no truck that will come along and save the truck. Ow! Rude words. Yeah, I really like. I think this was a lot easier than the arcade. I mean, it is still a bit tricky, but it's a lot easier than the arcade. And the arcade had the kind of steering wheel that was very much like the Super Sprint steering wheel. It was very loose, and it felt very flighty as you.
I always found it interesting that some arcade machines, had controls that were very much geared towards, competitive gaming. Some of the joystick controls were, professional. And then some of the games had controls that felt like they were part of the mechanic to help you fail in order to keep pumping more money into the machine. And this was one of them.
Entirely possible. Yeah. So I noticed you weren't able to restart, but I was. And the way you restart is by pressing the fire button. But you didn't define keys, so you wouldn't have known what the fire button was on the keyboard.
Ah, right.
I don't know why.
So there's a bit of a flaw in the Spectrum version right there. It didn't fully appreciate my desire to use a joystick.
To be fair, neither of us read the instructions before we played this game. And it may well have said press enter or whatever the fire button you have defined on the keyboard in order to restart. And that is entirely plausible.
Okay.
That it is in the instructions.
Right, well, I haven't seen you beat 23,175 yet, so...
Oh, okay. Is that my goal?
That's your goal, yeah. No music on the Spectrum version, I notice, as well.
Not on the 48K version, no.
No.
I don't think there was a 128K version of this.
No, I don't know. I think, doesn't it predate the platform?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But some games, they re-released with music if they were popular. What?
That might be worth us checking in the future if games are re-released, if they have additional features for the newer systems.
I don't think many did that, but there were a few, certainly. Maybe someone in the chat knows of any games that came out and then were re-released. Oh, bum, I'm screwed here now, aren't I?
Yeah, so Bacon Drinker says this looks like the difference between 30 and 60 FPS. So... we are running our emulators.
Get in,
PAL. Did you destroy it or just bypass him? Does that mean you?
No, he just if you go for long enough, you survive long enough, he disappears.
Right.
He flies off again, and you get onto this sand.
You're on the sand. What's level. The one after sand? Is it purple world, magenta world? Oh,
shit. Magenta world. I don't actually know.
I mean, there can only be so many levels on the Spectrum, right?
In the arcade, you'll notice the score is just clocking up and clocking up and clocking up. In the arcade, the score gets limited. Like, it stops updating if you kill a civilian. So you're actually motivated to not kill the random cars and only kill the baddies because you lose points if you go away. And I think all that happens on the Spectrum version is the score pauses slightly. I don't know if it goes backwards or oil stick. Yes. More oil. Oh, what's this? I can never remember what this is. Is this the one the fog? Yes.
Okay.
Smoke.
Oh dear, I'm gonna have to eat some humble pie here, unless you die. Oh, you've you have beaten my score though.
Well, of course I have. Yes.
And you're using a keyboard.
Also, I'm using the brutalist method of. I'm actually not even just using a keyboard. I'm using a Spectrum keyboard.
Such disappointment.
Proof. I am actually using a Spectrum keyboard to play this game because I am bizarre. Right, there we go. 28,900. In your face, Wimpy.
Right. Okay. Well done.
Do you want to try the Commodore version?
All right then. Let's give that a go. It's me to play it first, isn't it?
Yeah, you could go first.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll load it. Right, we're back. This is in a demo mode at the moment.
So I have to point out in the chat, in defence of your high score, Stuart says he would like to point out that hope he died, and then the screen rolled on for about 2 miles with no car because there was no bridge, and all the time accumulating points before there was a timely long enough bit of road for the truck to drop you off. However, Martin could have done that as well. You could have died at the right point, in which case the truck would have had to roll past. But you didn't, and I did.
I was too busy not crashing and shooting things, unfortunately.
Right.
Okay. So
this is the Commodore version.
This is the Commodore version. And I just need to do that.
And you talk about the Spectrum having bright colours. Check this out.
Yeah. You like colourful? Come on, this is.
I do. But you usually
This is in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, you usually tell me these are bad, and I'm saying, look, even the Commodore has these garish, puke-coloured roadside.
Oh, so there's a couple of things. I don't think the graphics are great on this. This is not a an exemplar Commodore 64 game. Right then. Now, we do have music, however. Oh, crikey, they're a bit more
feisty, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
And you've got a lot more room here.
Roads are wider. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, there's more meanies as well, though. Oh, hang on. Is he one
He's the one you can't shoot.
Right, get off the...
So you've either got to knock him off or get oil.
Oh, a bit more forgiving.
Is this music? Or is this just... is this a glitch?
It's not the best music, is it?
It's not.
It's interesting because at the time, the magazines raved about this music, and it's terrible. I mean,
it's a bit jazz, isn't it?
It's a rendition of Peter Dunn which was the theme tune to the American TV series. And that's
American
because,
TV series of what?
Well, he was a private eye. Oh, come on. Why can't I get up there? There we go.
There we go. What is that? What is that on the top of that truck? Is it oil?
I don't know, but where's it taken me?
Oh, he goes off and then he comes back down the side and lets you off into a tree by the look of it.
Is this? Oh,
you've got smoke there, I think.
Okay.
I like the little shimmy as you come off, because the arcade did that.
Yeah.
The little shimmy as you come off the verge, because it's rough, like terrain. I like that.
So, oh no, that's civilians.
This music is just...
It's not great, is it? People raved about this music at the time, and it's terrible. I do agree.
I wonder if it's not a glitch in the emulation or something, because we're using an emulator. I don't know if it's...
No, it's really this bad. This game is interesting in that it was the developer did the graphics and the music and the programming just about at the time when people were moving away from the single man projects. Oh dear, that boat's not the best either, is it? This is very reminiscent of River Raid on the Atari 26. Oh, and the bombs.
What
are
killed
not
you
as
then?
Visible. That he dropped a bomb on me, not very visible.
Wow, I didn't see that at all.
No. Ugh.
Yeah, it's you would think a game like this where there's lots of colour, so that, you know, the Commodore could certainly shine a bit, and there's only no more than 3 or 4 sprites on screen at once. You think the Commodore would shine at this? So
it's got the gameplay, but yeah, the visuals and the sound is, well,
I mean, it does have the coloured background. The water is blue.
Yeah.
So you know it has that. Is that a rocket? Yeah, you went into the back of the truck. Now you've got. Is that a rocket?
See. Yeah, that's
is that what that is?
Oh, right. So on the Commodore, to deploy your special weapons. Oh,
ha! There's the guys that shoot sideways. I mentioned them.
So
you should have looked out for that.
So there's some interesting things here. So on the Commodore, to release your additional weapons that you pick up, you hold down M and press fire, and that will release additional.
Your special weapon. Your special purpose.
Right.
Oh
no!
Oh man! What score?
That's half
12,000.
Half my score.
Well, I don't know if the score clocks up at the same rate. You know. Go on, have another
go. So it's interesting, the differences. So this has got features from the arcade machine.
Sorry, I have to mention, Stuart says I can certainly believe that this is a game with the graphics and music done by the developer,
right?
Or possibly a bricklayer.
Yeah. It's got the gameplay elements, but you know, the graphics and the sound are just...
It certainly has some of the gameplay elements, yes.
So the roads feel a little bit wider, probably because the runoff is more forgiving. And also, the other difference here is that there's more, like the arcade, there was that inertia when you were moving side to side. It's got that as well. Come back,
yes.
come back.
Which is interesting to do in a digital stick. Like you don't often see that inertia with a D-pad or a digital stick. So that's pretty well done there, because it does feel, it feels a bit skittish, but it's better than, you know, press a button and you go 1 pixel left, press a button and you go 1 pixel right. But I think it's just the sprites are smaller. That is a tiny sprite. What's that? 1, 2, 3. That's like 8 or 16 pixels wide, isn't it? Is it 8 pixels doubled to 16? Because they're fat pixels, aren't they?
They are fat pixels, but nevertheless, you're right. You're going off. Oh no, it's one of them. Oh, damn it! I actually thought that was one I was supposed to drive into. Bother.
Whoopsie.
So yeah, I was saying about the Peter Dunn theme tune. This comes from the arcade, because when they didn't get the James Bond license that they were hoping for, they then, you know, went their own way, and the theme tune is from a 1950s TV series in America featuring a private investigator.
Oh, I see. Right. Is he the one that shoots you? He is a bit. Bridge out.
You can. This is quite good as well. Unlike the Spectrum, you can generate some, momentum as you strike them. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because you've got the inertia.
Yeah.
And you've got more room as well. You could take a bit of a run up at them. Yeah. I'm not a fan of those explosions.
I'm not a fan of any of the graphics or any of the sounds. But gameplay-wise, it is all there, and it sounds like it's got more of the features of the arcade than the Spectrum version. That's where that little.
You've got to suspend your disbelief a little bit with these 8-bit classics.
Yes,
there's not many 8-bit. I mean, there are a few choice ones, and we'll save these for another day. But there are some choice games which are as good as you could possibly get on the hardware as a replica of the arcade. This is not an example of that.
No, but this is what our followers that was a bit tight, that, I think.
What's a bit? And those are really hard to see. They're brown or something, aren't they? Oh, here we go. This is the bit where the score doesn't go up on the Commodore as it moves to get the truck in.
No, I noticed that you get the no points thing. If I go after one of the civilians, look, no points. Look.
Oh, you do get the no points thing.
Like...
I think the score just changes colour on the Spectrum or just drops back a tiny bit. Is that turbo?
No, that was smoke.
Smoke. Looks like custard. Are you deploying custard?
I mean, what can I say?
I know. It's great, isn't it?
This is what people wanted to see, apparently. These terrible
Yes. My Twitter followers are the only people to blame for this.
Well, 15,000. I feel I could do better, but do you want to go?
Yeah, I do want to go, but feel free to have another go if you want. If you think you can do better than 15,520.
I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna see if I can get in there again.
I mean, it's not like we've got anything else to do.
No.
Ah, dear me. So Philip Prado says this version looks so much more infuriating than the version I played when I was young. I think I had it on one of those 501 home consoles or something. I don't remember it giving me a headache like this one is. But then again, when you're a child, do you really care? Retro Gaming Denmark, hello. Nice to see you again.
Oh, nice. Welcome back.
The Wizard has already made an early call, an early result here. It says Spectrum wins.
Really? I'm surprised. Yeah. In fact, I think the Spectrum wins on graphics, curiously.
And almost on music by not having the shit music. The only winning move is not to play the music.
I mean, are you going to try and play this on a keyboard on the Commodore? Or are you going to, play it?
No, I'm gonna try on a joystick. It's just awkward. And also, I wouldn't want to sully my Spectrum and play Commodore games using this glorious Spectrum keyboard here. I wouldn't want to do that.
I don't know how you got the gall.
But my main keyboard is kind of at a funny angle, so it would be a bit difficult. And Commodore games aren't really designed for keyboard, are they?
No, I mean
we have this conversation every single time.
This game does support keyboard, but why would you do that to yourself? In fact, this game supports 2 joystick play. So if you have 2 joysticks, in fact, I have a second joystick. Right. Is that going to work? Yeah, it looks like
Lift
it
them
is.
up so we can see.
I've got my Competition Pro and I've got my QuickShot 2 Turbo. So if I put the
Billy 2 joysticks.
Hey?
Billy 2 joysticks.
Yeah, I know, right? Because it's a Commodore, you can have 2 joysticks. So if I can, there you go. I'm using the fire button on the second joystick to deploy my custard.
What could possibly go wrong? Oh, is that flour or is that custard as well? You got flour and You have flour and custard.
I have dairy.
Oh no,
juice.
No, you haven't. The colour is changing. I think because of the number of colours you can have on a line, when you go over the water, the custard comes out white. I think. I may be wrong.
Right. Okay, so there you go. So that was playing with two
So
joysticks.
wait, you drive with one joystick,
Yeah.
and you use the fire button to fire the gun, and then on a second joystick with your other hand, you press the fire button on the other joystick to do the secondary weapon.
Yep.
Wow, that's ingenious. That is quite clever.
Yeah. Pleased with that. I'm actually surprised it worked. But there you go. Whoa!
Oh, another weird thing Stuart's pointed out. No music. It plays it through once and then stops.
No, actually, that's a bug. So when you die, sometimes the music doesn't come back, which is probably a saving grace, to be honest.
Yes, it's a pleasant bug. Nobody in the world ever wanted to fix that bug. Yeah. There are no pokes to fix that.
There are actually. There is a poke to turn the music off.
Turn it off?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and I meant there's no bug.
Somebody commented why, and it's like, well, now I've heard it, I understand. That transition from water to land's a bit weird. I feel like I've died each time, but I haven't.
Yeah, you clattered. I think the truck was right there. Yeah, I think that's a bit rubbish.
Oh.
It is a bit buggy, isn't it?
Yes! Got my oil on my second joystick deployment system. This is the future. This is the future. The Commodore wins. The Spectrum can't compete with this kind of miraculous stuff. Right, come on, truck. Stop banging into me. Get by me. Come on.
Well, I would point out the Spectrum wins by virtue of having many more buttons that I could use.
I've got keyboard buttons as well, but this is way better. I've got two joysticks. I mean,
is it better though?
Well, think about what that would have been like.
Well, I
in
guess
the
if you
80s,
use the trigger,
use two joysticks at the same time. I mean,
when you get your mate round,
co-op it exactly. Yeah.
Right. Please bring your joystick. I want to play Spy Hunter.
Yeah, and I need someone to release the flower.
Press the other button. Yeah. Release the custard.
Oh no! They are always going to get you. There is no way past those people. Oh.
Well, you've surpassed your high score.
That's good.
You were 15,250, I think, or 15,525
yeah,
or something.
You know what the difference is, don't 18. You?
Two joysticks.
Two joysticks. Proof.
He's a bit skittish, that truck driver.
Well, I seem to remember this being how it was in the arcade, which is one of the things I hated about it. I have to say, if we go back to the arcade club, I'm going to have to try this again in the arcade, because I think I lasted about a minute, and I was like, this is hideous.
When we went to arcade club in, where is it, Bury? Was it?
It was somewhere like that, wasn't it?
I found... Can you deploy custard now? I bet it's white. Yes.
White.
And then it goes yellow.
There we go. Yeah. It's the number of
colour limitation.
Colours, yeah. Oh. Can I custard the helicopter?
No, you can't custard the helicopter.
Oh, it seemed to work.
Did it?
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Look at that. Check me out. Hey, look. I also have made the desert.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
here he comes again.
Have
you got the... No, you haven't got
this
the...
Is bad. Oh.
Also, this is more arcade accurate. The bombs that land create potholes. And if you drive over the pothole, that destroys your car.
You off as what? Destroys you or just throws you off?
I think you crash, yeah, if you hit the pothole. It's like crashing your car into the side. And the Spectrum doesn't have that.
So you can go fast, but it doesn't feel like going fast is actually of any...
No, I would always rein it back from like 80% if you can. That helicopter sound is awesome, isn't it? Yeah, there you see the pothole on the...
This is a classic example of developer...
yes, Bacon Drinker confirms Arcade Club is in Bury. So yeah, I remember... I can't remember what you were playing, but it's right down the back on like the third floor against the back wall. And I walked up to it thinking, Spy Hunter, a game from my youth I must play. And hit the start button, and I was playing for like 30 seconds. I was like, screw this is terrible. I hate this game. And I didn't even finish the one game I was playing. The counter was still clocking up. And I was like, no, this is not a good memory.
That's quite authentic. So don't be fooled by the 1983. That's the arcade release. This game was released in 1985. I'm
The car in that scroller looked like one of those the Pink Panther car. The do you know the like two-seater with a flip-up front Pink Panther cartoon?
Now this is not me playing. This is a demo mode. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little bit loath to give up on this. I'm actually enjoying myself.
Well, it's my turn, so.
Disappointed.
What score did you get in the end? Was it 18,000, 20,000, something like that?
It was, I think it was like 19, 20,000. It was close to what I managed last time.
Cool.
Right, okay. Am I going to let you load this up then? Is that the...
That would be nice.
Okay, let's get it going. Right. Oh.
What?
It's all right.
Oh, is the hammer time?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Sweet. So,
Okay.
before today, I had never played this game on the Commodore 64.
Okay.
So, excuse my terrible... when you saw me test this earlier, about an hour ago, that was the first time I played this on the Commodore. So,
Okay.
forgive my awful driving. I'm using a conventional PC-style Xbox 360 joystick for this.
Oh, okay. Might struggle with that a little bit. So I'm a bit cautious because I feel like this is quite similar to the arcade in terms of controls and what have you. And if
What,
you
in that they're all
rage-
skittish all over the
And
place?
if you rage quit the arcade, I don't think you're going to take to this.
So, one thing I immediately noticed about this, well, is the music, obviously.
Yes. Well, how can you not?
Is because because I'm using an analog stick on an Xbox 360, it feels more natural because it's got that inertia that I would expect to get from an analog stick.
Right.
Even though it's analog, but it's actually sending digital signals. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's really just emulating a digital stick, but it feels to me like a steering wheel, which is impressive for a Xbox 360 controller plugged into a Commodore 64 emulator. There seem like fewer cars. I think partly because I'm going so fast. The wind is going through my
Yeah,
hair.
maybe.
and oh, hello. What can I get? What's this? It looks like a ladder. Can I get a ladder? Oh, music stopped. Oh no, it hasn't. It's just really low. Is it that it's supposed to be? I think Stuart said earlier on it was in the Blues Brothers as well, this music.
Yeah, I think that's where I remember it from. After you've
Oh,
played,
that was a person.
after you've
sorry.
played this game, we'll just
Oh, bump.
invoke a little bit of hammer time. I think I have a theory about something, and we'll.
I've just realised something.
Oh, you've got lots of weapons.
I don't know how to do the weapons.
Ah, right. You hold down the M key and press fire, and that will release the
Okay.
alternate weapons.
Oh gosh, M. That's very difficult for me to do. I'm going to sit a bit awkwardly.
Well, have you got another joystick?
I have a lot of joysticks.
That worked quite well
Yes.
for me. Frank is questioning whether or not you're driving with your eyes open or closed as well.
I don't know why he's asking that.
Alex suggests that you're trying to use the Force.
Uh,
The colours are really quite hideous. Yeah, they're not the best, are they? I mean, you can't. And also, what's curious about this is, in order to display as much of the game as possible, we crop the borders out of the Commodore 64, and yet this game has added borders to the already massive borders that existed. So, you know, there's quite a lot of screen space not being used here. Also, not the best scrolling technique either.
What's going on there? I think that's a bug.
Which one?
That nudged me onto the right-hand side of the screen and gave me no opportunity to avoid stuffing into... I think this is a buggy game.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, the exact same thing happened to me as happened to you.
Okay.
Over there, coming out of the water.
Yeah. Curious colour choice, magenta on that car, isn't it?
Which car?
The car in the game has, you know, is magenta and purple for the, you know, the highlights. It's a curious choice.
Well, I think that's a kind of sporty car colour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not true to the arcade though.
What colour was it in the arcade? Like red and blue?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like blue and orange. Still, you're doing quite well. You've got lots of weapons. You've got all the important ones. You've got obviously your machine guns. And you've got.
I've still got weapons.
There.
Oh, so I didn't die when I came out of the water. I must have.
Why is there a hole in the front of the boat? Don't you think the boat looks like the Starship Enterprise as well? That's what I noticed when I was in it.
What's this? I haven't even used any of the other weapons yet.
I think that one might be oil. I could be wrong.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, there is some truth in that. When we did
What's
Daniel is suggesting that it would look better if we had it connected to a TV. Oh, so it's Frank saying it would look better if we had it connected to an actual TV. We did do
scan lines.
Scan lines, yeah. Which we did use scan lines in the first few videos, but there are complications with doing that.
Chopper time! Chopper time! Chopper time!
You know, this chopper, the sound of the chopper sounds a lot like the sound of jumping in Bubble Bobble on the Spectrum. That sort of constipated farty noise. It's not the best.
Get in!
Did you shoot
Killed
it
the
down?
chopper. Yep.
Okay. Well done. You've beaten my score. You're close to beating my score on the Spectrum as well. You've got an extra life. Oh, you've passed 20,000, so you get an extra... Ah, that's interesting. Did that happen on the Spectrum? Because 20,000 is an extra life boundary, and you've picked up an extra life, so you now have 2 lives.
I haven't got any rockets left. They run out. Oh, I skidded on my own oil there.
I prefer the way the helicopter launches its bombs at you. It gives you a bit more opportunity to dodge them and, you know...
Ooh, and then he flies away. Do you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually getting bored of this game.
Bored?
Yes!
What, 2
You know, I said, well, it feels it. I am on novice mode, so it is entirely possible.
You can ratchet it up to expert mode.
Bridges out! Bridges out! Is he going to fly over me while I'm on my boat? No. Oh, he does. Oh, he dropped mine.
Someone has subscribed to our channel, I think. Whoever that is, thank you very much. I'll have to go back and check the chat logs later. Well,
where's my boat?
Is it? Can it only? Oh, here you go. Here you go.
Yeah, I think it knows that it can only deploy in open space.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you've got a great score here, 32,000. I think if you can rack up another 8,000, you might get an extra life.
another 8,000.
Mm.
Oh, shit, well, that's
Oh,
not gonna
well,
happen,
you're
is
not
it?
going to rack up 8,000 like that, are you?
Right. Come on then. Come on then. Well,
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I was having some fun, and then it got a bit tedious, and I don't know if
Interesting.
there wasn't enough. I don't know. I don't think. Well, I don't think I want another go of that.
Okay. Well, shall we
Yes.
change things up a little bit? Okay. I've forgotten where my things are. There we go. Right. Let's just turn off the computers. There we go. So that was Spy Hunter on the Spectrum and the Commodore 64. So Spectrum first. Did you play that much?
When I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
I played it. I mean, I had to save up to get it, and if I remember rightly, it came in a kind of premium box, not a normal dual cassette case. It came in like a hard plastic case, and I think because I liked the look of it in the arcade, and I saw it in magazines, and it got pretty good reviews in the magazines, I thought it was worth having. So I did save up my pennies, and I bought it, and I did play it. I certainly did play it, and I felt that whole James Bond, sports car, extra weapons that are added to your car, turns into a boat. I felt that whole thing just from playing the Spectrum version. I felt it was a good conversion for the Spectrum of the time.
Yeah, I mean, so like I say, didn't play it very much back at the time, and I don't think that game has aged well on either platform, really. And maybe not in the arcade either, because like you said, it's kind of limited gameplay. I mean, there's no like level progression as such, I don't think.
No, it's not like Outrun where the stages are very distinct and you've got choices, and then you make decisions and then you get to the end.
Yeah.
And there is an end, right?
It is simply a high score chaser. It
is, yeah.
Yeah. And if you've got a group of friends, then that can keep your interest for a long time. I can remember some games I've played in the arcade where, we would chase high scores or best times relentlessly.
I was never a high score person. I still am not now. I'm not a high score person. I'm not a collect all the achievements kind of person. I like to explore the whole world and see how far I can go, and whatever score I get is whatever score I get.
Yeah. So some games I've got into the scores. So Bomb Jack in the arcade, 1942 in the arcade, but that was more about getting through the levels as well. And Yia Kung Fu on the 8-bits. Richmond Mike, thanks very much for the raid. Welcome everyone who's joining us. If you're new here, we're 8-bit Versus. What we've been doing this evening is playing Spy Hunter on the Spectrum 48K and the Commodore 64. We're now just having a little bit of a disagreement about which was the best system. Alan is wrong. Being a Spectrum owner, he feels that the Spectrum owner is better, and clearly that's not the case.
We haven't even touched the Commodore version yet. We've only talked about the Spectrum version, and then you pivoted to how crap it was when you were a kid and the arcade version. Let's talk about that Commodore version, shall we?
Okay. Well, the Commodore version, I feel.
And don't you use your usual trope of it was more accurate to the arcade, and that's the only thing you'll ever say.
Well, okay. It is more accurate to the arcade. You even said so yourself.
Bingo!
When they shot outside
the helicopter
and
the
way in which you move in and out of the trucks, and all of that stuff. And albeit slightly terrible, it had the music as well. And the cherry on top, the level 11 feature, is the fact that I was able to play the game with 2 joysticks. I mean, if that is not the pinnacle of 1980s technology, I don't know what is. I mean, clearly that is some next level schnizzle.
That strikes
right
me
there.
as just using that as an excuse because the Commodore had 2 joystick ports and the Spectrum had
Oh well,
0
joystick port
on day
envy.
one.
The plight of every Spectrum
I'm
owner.
not remotely envious. I have my keyboard, which works very, very well. Thank you very much. So I think on the whole, Spectrum version was definitely better, even though it may not have been arcade accurate. It may have missed a couple of features. What it didn't have was terrible music, and it didn't seem to have the same glitches and bugs that the Commodore one had. That coming out of the water onto the road, that got both of us, and that was a bit weird. And the bombs being in the water almost invisible, and you just clatter into them straight away.
Yeah, as we said, you know, the 64 version was implemented. The programming, graphics, and sound were all done by the same person, and clearly, they needed help with the graphics and the sound. I think we can agree. So yeah, that was unfortunate. But I feel like the control system was more accurate to the arcade. You know, that sense of momentum and inertia that you could create, the way you could swerve the car across the road. So I feel like it
Arcade
the
conversion,
essence of
sure.
the arcade better.
I agree with you, but which one played better? Which one would you actually play for an extended period of time? And I think I would play the Spectrum version for an extended period of time. The Commodore version would just piss me off.
I would play both. I think I preferred the way the car and boats were drawn on the Spectrum. You know, the way that those were those graphics were just better. There's no two ways about it. Clearly, somebody who knew how to, you know, draw sprites was
Draw a car
involved. Yeah, but I'd play both,
even with only 2 colours.
You know, I felt the wider roads on the Commodore and that slightly more forgiving runoff on the side of the road would have me coming back to that version more, because I found the oversensitive collision detection on the Spectrum infuriating. Not infuriating, but just a bit annoying.
Annoying.
Yeah.
It's interesting that this was a vertical game in the arcade, wasn't it? Wasn't it a...
yeah, it was.
Yeah. So they've managed to crowbar that when they had more space horizontally on the 8-bit machines, but they've still managed to squish it in on the Spectrum. So I think, is this yet another one where we agree to disagree, or are you willing to concede that the Spectrum version is more playable?
No, God, no. It's not head and shoulders above. I think the gameplay in both is
say
fairly
head and shoulders. Equal. I just said more playable.
No. I think they're equally playable, and some aspects of the Commodore gameplay I prefer. So I think, you know, we have reached another stalemate. Maybe what we need to do is introduce a new mechanism here in the future where we can capture the voice of the viewers and the people in chat to get their input. You know, we can present our arguments and maybe have them. If anyone wants to weigh in, you know, having watched the Spectrum and the Commodore version, which you enjoyed, maybe next time we do this, we'll figure out how we can put a poll in and get some feedback from all of you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, because we could just get people to bring their audience and bring all their Commodore friends and vote one way, or bring all their Spectrum friends and vote another way.
For those of you that have just joined us, we do this. We've just had a short Christmas break. We're quite new at this. We've done a few of these. We do maybe 1 or 2 a week. We try and do a couple of games a week. We battle it out on the Spectrum and the Commodore 64. This game was voted for by our followers as one to play. So, you know, come and follow us on Twitter or here on Twitch, or join our Discord. You'll find links down below the video for all of that stuff. Straw poll me. Yeah, we'll set something up for the next one, and definitely start doing that, I think.
So you've mentioned next one. What is the next one?
Right.
This is one of yours. The Spy Hunter was my choice.
Yeah.
Your one is?
So the game voted for by my followers was Barbarian: The Ultimate Warrior. So that is the next game we'll be playing on Spectrum and Commodore 64.
And so people should follow us in all the usual places on Twitch,
Twitter.
That's the word, and YouTube, and find out when the next one of these will be. We announce it on everywhere, and the times and all the details are in the box below.
Yeah, and when we've agreed when the next one is going to be, we'll update the card on Twitch with the time and date of the next one in multiple time zones, so you can just take a look at the channel and see when we're going to be doing stuff. Well, another stalemate. I feel.
Who'd have thought it? Who would have thought that we would be entrenched in our positions of 8-bit machines? You never would believe it, would you?
If you want to continue the argument, come and join us in Discord.
Yes, join us in Discord. We've got a little chat there, and you can suggest games if you think Spy Hunter and Barbarian aren't good examples of the Spectrum or the Commodore 64. You can suggest games that you think would better show off these systems. If they're available for both systems, then we'll play on both. But we're going to introduce the concept of playing platform exclusives soon. So I will be suggesting that Martin plays some Spectrum exclusives, and Martin will be suggesting some Commodore exclusives for me to play. But that's something to look forward to in the future.
So the Commodore lovers amongst you, please come and follow us and share with me your best examples of Commodore 64 exclusives, so I can totally amaze Alan with what he was missing out on 33 years ago.
I don't need the Spectrum people to tell me the exclusives. I know there's tons of them for me to choose from. No, I'm lying. I totally need Spectrum suggestions for platform exclusives, but also ones that are, work on both. Totally.
Hackshed, thanks for the noticing that we've got Spectrum and Commodore 64 borders around our webcams.
They're very beautiful, aren't they? The little touches around the edge. I do like that.
And the little computer here, and Alan has one too. Yeah, we had a lot of fun making all of this nonsense. If you enjoyed this, please come back and join us next time. It'll be a lot more fun because hopefully I get to slice someone's head off.
Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon.